Okay, good morning, everyone, and welcome to listen to this webinar about the importance and role of data in B2C marketing automation. Today is Wednesday, 5th of September, and time is running. We're already a couple of minutes after 11 Finnish time, so it's time to kick off the webinar. But first, a couple of practical things. We have muted you, but please keep your microphones muted. If you have any questions, you can see the panel in the webinar tool, so you can post those in the chat, and we will cover the questions at a suitable moment during this webinar. The webinar will take approximately 45 minutes, and then we will have 10 to 15 minutes time to cover your questions. But before we start, a couple of words about myself and about my employer Fluido. So my name is Milla Hallanoro, and I work as the marketing automation practice lead at Fluido. I have a background in marketing. I've been working in different marketing roles in B2C and in B2B sector in diverse industries. And now during the last couple of years, my main focus has been in the planning and implementation of marketing automation solutions for companies. And today with me, I have also Antti Paukko, who will be joining to answer to your questions. So he's our marketing automation team lead, and he also has a strong understanding of the data models, in the use of data in the marketing automation, so on. Okay, but for you, who don't know Fluido that well, so Fluido is the leading Salesforce partner company in the Northern Europe. We have currently over 250 employees working with different solutions, and one of them being the marketing automation. But we work also with the sales CRM, customer services, communities, e-commerce, and so on. And we have offices in all the Nordic countries and also in Slovakia. What we do, so we obviously we plan and implement different solutions for customers and also support them in their use and development in the future. But we are not only a technical implementation partner, but we also participate in the strategic advisory and do the strategic planning in all the phases of these digital transformation projects. And about the industries where we work, so we are working in the finance, we are working in the technology, in the manufacturing industry, shipping, retail, energy, and media. But when we think about our marketing automation practice, so one of our main industries is the retail. We have currently over 50 customers in the retail industry. We have also over 50 consultants and specialists who have focused especially in the retail business. And when we implement marketing automation projects, so in the retail industry, those are quite often connected also to the customer services in the communities and also in the e-commerce solutions. Okay, but that was a quick recap about who we are, and now it's time to take a look into today's topic, that's the use of data and the use of data in marketing automation. So first, I will cover shortly what we actually mean with the data, why it is so important when we speak about marketing automation, and also what type of challenges companies normally face when they are trying to processing the data. After that, we will jump over to speak about the integration, about the data architecture, and about the use of data in marketing automation. And at the end of this webinar, I will also show you some use case examples that we have implemented using marketing automation, Salesforce Marketing Cloud, and how data and data models are actually connected to those use cases. And then we will have time to cover your questions. So, but let's start by defining some terminology. So what is data? What is marketing automation? What is data-driven marketing? So these three important concepts are are closely connected to each other. Without data, we can't do data-driven marketing, and without data-driven marketing, we don't basically have marketing automation. So normally, when we're speaking about data in B2C marketing, we refer to all types of data that we collect and store about a specific marketing object, normally meaning the consumer. We have some demographical data, age, gender, we have contact data, email addresses, phone numbers, which we normally store in our CRM solution. But in addition to that, we obviously have also, for example, email tracking data, email opens and email clicks. We have the purchase data from the web store, from the standard store. We have some browsing and behavioral data from the website and from the mobile applications, data from the social media platforms, and so on. So we want to collect all this data in order to understand our consumers better. We want to understand their preferences, their behavioral models, and obviously also use the data for the marketing purposes. But it's also important to remember that data itself, it's not equal to information. So always when we collect data, we should have processes so that we can analyze the data and process it in a way that it actually gives us information and can be used also for the marketing purposes. But then if we define what is actually marketing automation. So normally with marketing automation, we mean a software or a tool that we use for automating of different marketing activities and processes that we probably have been doing manually previously or haven't been able to do at all. Marketing automation is also a tool that enables us to process large amounts of data so that we can personalize messages instead of like a couple of persons, also on a scale, so that we can do something for 5 million persons that we were able to do previously, for example, just for a small group of people. And if we think about the data-driven marketing, so data-driven marketing is the method that we use actually to run marketing automation. So the goal of the data-driven marketing is to use the data in order to understand our consumers better and also to build a better relationship with them also now and in the future, and also to understand how they interact with our current marketing messages. So if we don't have data, we don't basically have data-driven marketing, we can't do it. And if we don't have the method of use data-driven marketing, we can't really do successful marketing automation. So just to summarize why data is so important, what I was just talking in the previous slide. So data is the source that helps us to understand our customers better. What are their current and what are their future needs? Where are they located? What are our most profitable customer segments? What are our consumers' interests and preferences, their behavioral models? And this data is our source for personalization. When we look at the data, when we analyze it, we can also personalize email content, SMS content, content on the website, and basically all the customer journey we create for a specific person. And through that, data is also our source for better customer service and also our way to create better customer value. And obviously, data is also something that gives us valuable information about the marketing activities that work better than the other ones. And it also allows us to focus and centralize our investments into activities that actually bring us the best return on our marketing investments. But we are not only looking at the marketing activities, but we can also analyze that which are the products, which are the services that are most profitable for us. If there a gap between the products and services that the customers demand that we can't currently offer? So data gives us also valuable feedback and information for our product development. And to summarize this, so the data is basically the foundation for scalable and automated and repeatable marketing processes. There has been quite a lot of surveys and researches that have been done regarding the importance of good customer service and companies' ability to understand their consumers and their expectations. So I've picked some survey codes. These surveys are done by Salesforce, but there are a lot of similar ones implemented by different companies, and they all show basically the same trend, which is like which means that the ability to understand customer needs and to personalize the content is the way to success. So, for example, over 2/3 of the companies expect that or customers expect that companies understand their needs and expectations. And obviously, the data is our source that we can use to know our customers better. In a similar way, most of the persons, they expect that companies are able to respond quickly to their customer service inquiries. And also in this case, we can use the data to analyze which are customers' preferred communication channels, which is the preferred time they want to be contacted, and so on. So data helps us to engage with our customers and consumers. And in a similar way, most of the customers also expect the personalized customer care, or otherwise they might be willing even to change the brand and change the company. And also in this case, there is the data, and data gives us valuable information that enables us to personalize the communications and customer service processes. But when we speak about the personalization, we don't normally even speak about the personalized customer care, but in marketing, we normally speak about the personalized content in the different messages. But also regarding the personalized communications, the surveys tell that consumers really expect that companies are able to personalize the content so that it fits better to their needs and preferences. Otherwise, they are willing to change the brand and change the company. And all this, it might sound self-evident, it might sound obvious and even super easy to do, but if we look at the statistics, so actually one of the most underutilized features of marketing automation or Salesforce Marketing Cloud is the capability to change what content we will show to the recipient on the basis of the data we have about him or her. So there might be several reasons for this, and one of them is obviously that the company might not have appropriate tools which allows us to personalize the content, or even if we have the tools, there might be no capabilities to use the tools in a proper way, or the tool is just too complicated. But quite often what we can see, the reason is none of this, but the reason is that we can't access the data, or we don't know how to access it so that we can create the personalized content. And that said, the next topic I will cover are some data challenges that we normally identify and recognize when we work with our marketing automation customers and start to implement the projects. So data challenges or data opportunities also. What we have seen, so the challenges related to the data, the marketing data, so they're normally connected to the silos between different systems and also the lack of knowledge how to use the data. So quite often the data that we need to create a target group for marketing, it's siloed, it's located in different systems. We have the CRM tool, we might have a data warehouse, and then we have different marketing systems that we want to use where we have a different type of data. And quite often this is also connected to the fact that marketing hasn't traditionally been part of the data modeling or the data architecture planning inside the companies, because marketing has been considered being the creative and content-based discipline. So we might have in organization already a proper data architecture for a CRM and for the data warehouse and how the data flows between those. But marketing automation being rather new field and a quite new tool, so there might not exist any data flows and data plans how to actually to get the data in a format that it can be used inside a marketing automation tool. So there is a lack of the proper data model. One of the biggest challenges is also the quality of data. I think this is concerning almost all the companies. So sometimes we can just trust the data. It's not good quality or it's outdated. And even if we got to the point that we actually have access to all the data we need, so the next challenge or question is that what is the data we need in order to analyze how successful our marketing activities really were? And it's also important to note that marketing automation tool, it's not a robust marketing analytics tool. Quite often these are two different systems. So even if we can analyze email tracking, SMS tracking inside marketing automation, it's not a place where we can connect analytical data from different sources. So for example, if we implemented an email campaign, including a discount coupons and forward the person to the website, and they insert the coupon code there, and we want to track that actually how many persons who opened the email also used the coupon. So normally we need to process and consolidate those two data sources in another tool, which is not the marketing automation. And unfortunately, also one big reason for the data challenges is the lack of understanding and the right type of skills and roles inside of organization, how to actually to use the tool and process the data. So next, I want to cover some of these topics a little bit more deeply. And the first one is the lack of right type of skills and knowledge inside the organization. So the fact is that marketing is changing. Digital marketing is a fast developing field, and what we can see, this picture is from a book called Hacking Marketing. So what we can see is that marketing is actually approaching the software, is approaching the information technology sector. And one of the biggest reasons for this is that data has become crucial and even more crucial part of the marketing. So instead of the traditional marketing manager skills or marketing manager roles, so there is a need for persons who really understand the data, who really understand more technical things like programming, coding, and what type of data architecture there should be in a place. And we already might have these persons inside the organization, but normally they are not part of the marketing team. They might be working in an IT department, and the challenge could be that marketing doesn't really talk with the information with the IT department, or the IT department doesn't understand the marketing needs. So there is a gap between these two departments in the organization. And obviously, when we speak about digital marketing and digital transformation and digital processes, so it's concerning the whole business inside the organization. So there is more and more need for cooperation with the different departments, with the marketing, with the IT, with the sales, in order to understand what are the sales needs and business needs, also with analytics. So instead of working as we used to work before, so we need new type of roles and new type of cooperation. We quickly mentioned the problem related to the siloed data. So a good question is that when we define the marketing use cases, so can we access the data? We need to implement those activities. So it's not uncommon marketing tools, one which they use for sending of SMS, one which they use for sending of email, and so on. And then we have the data warehouse, which could include some type of information. We might have a financial system, a ERP system. And all these systems, they include different type of data and different type of information, but none of them actually gives us a good picture about how or understanding who is our customer, what are their preferences, what is the overall picture of or profile of that person. So in order to create that understanding, so we obviously need to have right type of integrations and connections in place so that we can connect the data somewhere. So for example, if we want to implement a marketing journey for women who are loyalty club members, but are not actively using our company's mobile application, so it might be that we have the profile information in our CRM, we might have the loyalty information in data warehouse, and then again, we get the mobile application usage information from the application. So we need to think about how we can actually access that data, how we can create the target group so that we can send the email or, for example, the SMS from the marketing automation tool. And quite often, the easiest part is to connect the CRM and the marketing automation. For example, the Salesforce platform, those two systems have a ready-made connection, but then we still need to build some type of integration from the mobile application so that we can use that data. And a third but very important question is also that can we trust on our data? Is it up to date or is it of good quality? And the fact is that we have some data that just becomes outdated at some point. People change addresses, they update the email addresses, they change phone numbers, and so on. So some of the data is just not up to date anymore after some time. And obviously, we should think about what type of processes we create in order to keep the data up to date. But the other big reason for the data quality challenge is also that we might have several forums on the website or on the landing pages, which we use to gather data, or we might gather the data through different systems. And if we don't have proper validations, data check in place, for example, if we ask the person to subscribe to a newsletter and we don't have a double opt-in, so how can we secure that that the person actually filled in the right email address that is working? And the same is valid also for example, the phone number information which we include in the form. So if we don't have any verification or any check, so it might be that we get the phone numbers in different formats with the country code, without the country code, with a slash, with a plus sign, and so on. And this actually has a really big impact on our marketing activities because if, for example, the phone numbers are not right and we want to send a targeted SMS to a specific group, the deliverability presence might be very low if the data is not right. So obviously, what we should always do when we gather the information, that the information comes in the right format in our systems. But another reason why we might get bad quality of data is that people are not willing to tell everything about themselves. They want to harness their privacy, especially when we start to speak about the GDPR. So if we, for example, ask people to subscribe to a newsletter, but we still ask too many more required informations, for example, the address or the phone number, they might ask that, why should we give you this information? Because we just want to receive the newsletter. And in that case, they might fill in information that is not actually correct. So in those use cases, it, for example, would be good to wait until the person is willing to give that information voluntarily, for example, through a profile page or through some account profile page in the website. So um, I'm a fan of Calvin and Hobbes, so I just found this piece of cartoon. I wanted to put it in here because this shows in a way that what people tell about themselves might not always be the truth. So here, for example, Calvin, so he's filling out the survey for a Trivia magazine, and obviously he's a young little guy, so he's answering something that is completely wrong. So probably this is not something that is happening very often, but just to point out that if we ask something from the persons, we might not always get the correct answer or correct information. And from that point of view, it's also important when we create a customer profile, customer personas, to use the data that we get from the customers and consumers, but also the data that we can collect, for example, through website tracking or email tracking. So we get the data that actually it's based on the person's behavior. Okay, but now we have been talking quite a lot about the data and about the challenges, what the data might cause from the marketing point of view. And the next step I want to cover is the importance of data models and importance of data architecture when we start to plan our marketing automation. So normally, when we start to plan what marketing use cases we want to implement, so normally the data might come from different sources. It might be that the first use cases we can implement, for example, by using only the data that is located in the CRM. But as soon as we want to implement something more advanced, for example, by using the data from the website, we need to connect two different data sources or even several data sources together. And one important thing also to point out and remember is that the data model integrations quite often need to support also the use of real-time data in addition to the historical data. And with this, I mean that, for example, if someone is completing an order on the website, we need to send an immediate order confirmation. So we need to get the data from the website real time to our marketing automation solution that we can send out immediate confirmation. And obviously, good data architecture and good data model, so it streamlines the data flows and makes also the marketing automation easier. In addition to how we get the data so that we can use it for marketing, so that we can create our marketing use cases, we also need to think about that what type of data extracts and export we need to have in place so that we can analyze the results and see which were the activities that work, which were not working, and then we can push the data also back to the marketing automation system. And when we're working with different data sources, obviously we need to think about how we can connect the data to the specific marketing subject. So there is a need for unique IDs, which we can use to combine the data. So it might be some type of customer ID, it might be a CRM ID, and so on. And but sometimes there are use cases when we are forced to use, for example, the email address or a phone number to connect the data, but those are not best options because we might have several profiles, several persons in our systems having the same email addresses, having the same phone numbers. So that is a challenge we get if we don't have any other ID that we could use to connect the data. And obviously, good data model and good data planning also creates data transparency, and which is more and more important today because people want to harness their privacy. They want to take care of the information they give us. So good data model is something that also ensures that we know where different data is located in our systems. So to summarize this, so if the data model is not well planned and if it's not properly taught, so it also complicates the data-driven marketing, and it also complicates the use of marketing automation systems. But then how should we organize the data between these different systems and the data architecture? So first of all, marketing automation system, it is not a CRM tool, but it's a tool that we use for creating and automating communications. Marketing automation systems should not include all the data we have about our customers, but it should include only the data that we need for creating our marketing use cases. So CRM is normally the place where we store customer profile information, but it's not even a place where we should store all the data about our customers. We might have the data warehouses and other sources to store some other type of data. So the other sources, which we quite often need to connect when we speak about the marketing automation and marketing use cases. So website is one of the most important sources, mobile applications, purchase data from different sources, and then there might also be a data warehouse including some of the needed information. So if we think about all this, so how should we start planning the data model if it's not already existing? So what are the things that we should take into consideration? So first of all, we should define what are current and future use cases for marketing. What is the data we need for them, and where is the data located currently? Is the data easily accessible? Is it currently located in the right place, or should it be located somewhere else so that it can be accessed more easily? Do we need any real-time data? Are there any use cases that require the use of real-time data to execute the immediate actions? And also, what are the things we want to measure? So so what is the data we really need to extract to other systems in order to get a good analysis results? And of these, I want to cover the difference between the historical data and real-time data, because this has a remarkable effect also on our integrations and what type of integrations we can have. So historical data, so normally the use cases like birthday messages, monthly newsletters, and abandoned shopping cart. So we can use or do them by using the historical data. Birthday is something we know in advance. It doesn't change immediately. So abandoned shopping cart, normally when we leave the product in the shopping cart, we don't want to send an immediate email, but we probably send the email in the next day. So all these use cases can be basically implemented using the historical type of data. But then there is also a need for the real-time data. So for example, when the person subscribes to a newsletter, when he or she completes an order, so we want to send an immediate email so that the person actually knows that the order has been completed or the subscription is successful. Some other critical use cases might be a change in the flight departure time, which we need to communicate immediately to the recipient, for example, through a mobile voice or through an SMS. So it's important to recognize what are the requirements for the data, how often the data should be updated, and how often it should be available for our use. And I just want to quickly visualize what could be, what are the different data sources or how the environment would look like around our marketing automation, around our marketing use cases. So it might be that we have a data warehouse, we have a CRM, we have the marketing automation tool, and then we have data sources like website and mobile application and transactional data from the purchases. So how should we build the integrations? Normally, there is a ready-made integration between the CRM and the marketing automation, at least if we are working inside the same platform like Salesforce, or even if we're working between different platforms and systems. So this is like the integration we normally need to do first. But then if we need to integrate the data warehouse, for example, so there are already several options what we can do. We could create an immediate integration using the API so that it supports the real-time use of the data. If there is no need for the real-time use of data, we could use SFTP account. And but this is something that is really not supporting the immediate actions, but for example, Marketing Cloud. In the case of Marketing Cloud, we could execute the import, for example, hourly. But then we have a lot of data, like website data, transactional data, mobile application data, that we also want to use inside our marketing automation system. But we don't really want to bring all the data there, but we want to bring only the data that we really need to implement a use case. So in these cases, one of the good options is, for example, to use a custom application as a middleware, for example, Heroku, AWS, or Google Cloud, which then again allows us to process the data and aggregate the data in the application before we push it to our marketing automation system. And obviously, we could also build an API integration from the website to our marketing automation system, for example, when we want to implement the order confirmation emails. And one option is also when we want to use the mobile application data, send push notifications. So we could use the mobile SDK to create that integration. And if we think about the data analytics, data extract, so one of the good options is to do the data extracts, for example, through the SFTP sites. So now it's time to jump to a couple of use cases. We have covered what is data, what are the data challenges, how the data model could look like for marketing automation, and how we should plan the data model. So I want to quickly cover a couple of normal use cases we quite often implement when we start working with marketing automation. So first of them is like a personalized email content, which is based on the customer's interests, location, loyalty club membership level. And in this case, the data is located in the CRM, it's located in the loyalty system, and what we want to do is to merge the data inside a marketing cloud. And the end result should be that we send one single email, and but it's shown differently to the different recipients. So if we go inside our marketing automation tool, this is Salesforce Marketing Cloud. So if we take a look at this data model, so what we have, so we have the CRM data located in one table, And then we also have some loyalty information located in another table. And these two ones are connected with the same customer ID, which can be found in the both systems. And inside Marketing Cloud, we merge these two tables so that we can get the proper target group. And if we take a look at the email, so on the left-hand side, you can see the data that we have in the table. So, for example, this person is located in Helsinki. She's interested about sports, and she's already a loyalty club member. So what she sees is a content regarding Helsinki. She sees some information about the sports, and she also sees content that encourages her to reach the next level in the loyalty club. But if we browse and preview the data that we have, so this person again, the person would be located in another city, in Turku. She's not interested about sports. She's interested about photography, and she doesn't have any loyalty club information. She's not a member in the loyalty club. So she sees some content regarding Turku. She sees some content regarding photography, which is her interest, and also content that encourages her to join the loyalty program. So if we look at the data model quickly, so there is a CRM, an integration from the CRM to our marketing automation system, another integration from the loyalty data to marketing automation, and we get the data in two data tables, which we then merge to create the target group and send the personalized email. Okay, the other use case would be an intelligent customer journey. So we would create a promotional autumn journey based on loyalty club level, email and SMS preferences, email engagement. We also include a coupon in the email, so if the person has used a coupon or not. And the channels we want to use and include it in the journey is the email, SMS, and also advertising. And also in this use case, we have two data sources, CRM and the loyalty system. So, and this screenshot is also from Marketing Cloud and how the Journey Builder tool looks in there. But if we quickly take a look in the data model, so it's a similar one than the other one, but in this use case, what we would like to do is that we need to check real-time the loyalty data information, that if the person is a loyalty club member or not, and if she's not, he or she goes to a certain path, and if yes, so he can actually change the path during the journey. And we also check directly from our CRM data where we store the coupon usage, if the coupon has been used or not. So a quick look into this journey inside the Marketing Cloud. So when we have our target group, so the first thing we check from the data is actually the loyalty club membership. After that, we check the email marketing permissions. If valid, we can proceed to the email marketing branch and send a loyalty club discount promotional email for that person. And after some days, we can also check if the person has engaged with the email, if she has opened it or not. And if yes, we can check if the coupon was used and check the coupon usage from the CRM. And if yes, so the person has actually reached our goal and can exit the journey. But for example, if the coupon was not used, we can send another reminder email. But for the persons who didn't open the first email, we could think that, okay, probably these ones are not engaging with our email, so we could proceed and add these to an advertisement target group and show them an advertisement into Facebook. And in a similar way, we can create different branches, for example, for the persons who don't have an email marketing permission, but have an SMS marketing permission, and we can send them equal content by using the SMS, for example. So time is running, so it's time to summarize the content what we have just gone through. The main thing what you should remember is that data is the basis for marketing automation. Without the data, we can't basically do anything. Today's customers, they expect personalized communications. We really need to use our data in order to personalize the content in the communications. Good data architecture is remarkably important. It simplifies our marketing automation processes, and it also needs to be planned in a way that it doesn't support only our today's use cases, but it can be scalable and used also for the future ones. We need to think about if we need both real-time and historical data. Normally, we need both of these, and these affect the integrations. And good data model and good data architecture, it creates transparency, and transparency then again creates trust. And when consumers and people trust in us, they are also more willing to give the data for us in exchange for good customer service and personalizations. Okay, if you don't remember anything about this webinar, so please remember one thing, and it's the data. So get your data right, and after that we can start talking about the marketing automation. Okay, but time is running, so it's time to cover some of your questions. Okay, so if you can unmute yourself. No. Oh, so if you can. Okay, so if you have any questions, so please type the questions in the chat window. You can see in the webinar panel. Okay, just a moment. So there is at least one question. So
Okay, so hello, I'm Ante Pokko. I'm Milla's colleague from Fluido. And there was a question about how to use data within the company with marketing automation. And well, usually the best practice is to build 360 view to customer data and combine, for example, sales, customer service, and marketing automation or marketing data to one single place. And for example, if there's open customer service cases, you can then pause or hold marketing activities for those customers. And of course, sales data can be used then for segmenting customers. But also marketing information is relevant for customer service and sales, so it's good to get all this data into one place. And also one aspect is that it's really good to understand that data quality is really important, and all functions can work together to maintain the data quality. For example, if email addresses are bouncing, customer service can also ask or inform the customer that, hey, did you know that your email address is not valid, and can you update your information? And same thing with sales. I hope this helps with your question.
Okay, and then there was also another a little bit more practical question and about will we share the slides? And yes, the answer is that we will share the slide to you who attended the webinar. Okay, it looks like there are no other questions, but if you have any questions later on, so obviously you can contact us and post the questions also. We'll provide you my email address. And just to remind, so we have some other webinars upcoming, so you can go to fluidogroup.com/events and you can find the following webinars there. So for example, in 2 weeks, we'll have a webinar regarding the CPQ. Okay, thank you for your attendance and hope the information of this webinar was beneficial for you and hope to see you also in the future to attend other webinars. Thank you.